dyno session today.
Yeah.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one.
You said like what, 450?
I'd be happy with 450 to the wheels. I'd be happy with 450.
I want to see 5 by the end of the day.
I want to see 5. I'm still trying to wait for my back to feel better from the ride of this truck.
What? You don't like my truck?
No, the seats suck.
Everybody likes my truck.
Outside, great. Inside seats suck. What's your prediction, Corey?
Yeah, what's your prediction?
Less than mine. Oh, here we go. I knew he was gonna. I know it's gonna be like, mine was dying and it was 900 horsepower to the wheels. The one that I bought and didn't build. First.
You guys look like you work for Vicky Ray's Pizza.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Vicky Ray's is getting free sponsorships? What the hell?
Sponsored by Vicky Ray's. Not a big deal or anything. It's not a pizza.
I was thinking that. It looks goofy with those little tiny tires.
So I just had my wheels and tires fixed on the back of my Bug the other day, and I took a picture of it on the jack stands with the wheels off and made a short video and said, "Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs."
Yeah, I think it's
doing that. I'll
wicked.
show you guys a couple things. Brag board. This is everybody who's made over 1,000 horsepower on the dyno so far.
Oh, cool.
So pretty good bragging rights there.
Yeah, I would say so.
The most impressive one is this one. It's only a 2.1 liter 4-cylinder running turbo and nitrous.
Oh,
So
Holy cow.
very cool. Oh, 55 C10. That was almost 2,000.
and then because I'm a dork, my mascot, I have a dyno on the dyno. So and then I've got a bunch of parts making upgrades on the race bug. But like I say, last time on the dyno, my race bug made 590 to the ground and ran 924 at 150 in the quarter. And all the changes I'm making, it should be making 700 plus to the ground after this,
Holy
and
cow.
run probably deep into the 8s.
Is that just a bus training or? Like
Yeah, out of a van, Volkswagen vanning it, but then highly modified.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably have over $8,000 into the gearbox alone with all the custom gears.
Yeah.
$8,000 in that thing?
Yeah, just in the transmission.
Oh my
I used
gosh.
to run a Mendiola.
Yeah, and I toyed with going to Mendiola. They are stronger. The only reason I didn't is I wanted the bragging rights. Even though it's all custom parts, I'm still using like a VW case transmission and a VW cased engine. And so there's, I could have went with a Potter engine and a Mendiola tranny.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit better bragging rights when you're showing the VW castings on the parts and say, look, it's based off this.
Yeah.
All right.
That is cool.
And then the turbo I have is on my Bug. Sitting here, so it's a 68 millimeter turbo for the Bug. So pretty good size.
Yeah, that's a good size.
So
This is cool. So when I grew up going to the desert with a bunch of old guys with Volkswagens, they'd always have their starter button in the back of their car so they could fire it up and play with their carburetors.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, because when I did the same thing when I first built this, it was carbureted.
Yeah.
And then I've slowly evolved. Where now it's fuel injected and single cylinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a 14-point cage.
you imagine going that fast in a bug?
Yeah, the fastest I've gone in it was 158. Because I've done 150 in the quarter, but one time, just for the heck of it, I stayed into it past the finish line just because it was fun, and took it up to about 158 before I shut it down.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. The car that was only designed to go, what, 50 miles an hour?
About
55?
50, yeah. Downhill with the tail light.
Yeah.
Well, let me start strapping it down. I don't know if you guys need to grab anything or do anything, but yeah, I'll just get her strapped in.
You ready for this?
That was a lot of work, so yeah. I'm ready.
What's the worst thing now?
Yeah. Have to blow it up and have to get a new motor.
Right?
Want a new one anyways.
Exactly.
Blow it up after the jam.
If I wasn't planning on blowing it up, I wouldn't have put a blower on it.
It does do 100?
Yeah.
So, what you need to do, and I'll kind of walk you through it so you know. Tap on the screen, go to home. What? Tap right here, that's fine. Home, no place like home. File. Okay, global config. So put download from ECU. Okay, so this is blower Jeep is what it's called.
Yep.
Okay, so put OK. Okay, so now just turn the ignition off. So now let's pull the SD card out. And we're gonna take that in with us.
Give us the first poll guess. That's not a pole. So that was a baby one.
To the engine, 376.
You're not very optimistic, are you?
No.
He said 376 to the engine.
That's just how much power it took to do those operations.
Yeah. We're making very uneducated guesses.
Yeah. And even though it'll override it if it's higher, I'll just do this real quick and reset it. That way we're starting from scratch.
Okay.
So the engine, that's a 450 to the crank, so I would hope around 5. Well, maybe supercharger.
I'm gonna say 531 to the engine and 497 to the wheels. You wait. What? One off.
To the engine, 376.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
One off. We're gonna get better than that.
Damn it. Started to crap out on the top. I didn't go all the way to 6 grand because it started.
I hope we do better than that.
It'll do better than that. I haven't even, there's no tuning and.
I was a little more optimistic.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like 456. I said 346.
There you go.
We're gonna get there.
Oh yeah, and looking at all this stuff now, this is gonna point us at the ground. 69, 69, okay. Got it, my password.
Nice.
Probably shocks and apology that I would have such a
Wonder why your
Where your pin is for your debit card.
Might be the same. So this is the horsepower and torque. And actually, you know what? Momentarily, I'm going to just leave that off because we're not working. This is AFR.
Oh.
So my measured AFR with the dyno, this has a default smoothing. And so I can take that smoothing all the way off. The problem is an engine's a breathing dynamic beast, so things are sitting there pulsing.
Yeah.
So taking it off sometimes isn't the best, so I'll just go kind of in between them. When I drag this, the green line is AFR, the orange line is boost. In the parentheses is the average during the run. The white one is what it is at any given point. So when I go all the way up here to the peak, you know, we made 11.5 pounds of boost, you know, at the peak. And the nice thing about this with a supercharger, you know, unless you get to a point where it maxes out, it continues to build boost as the RPMs come up.
Yeah.
If it was a turbocharger, depending on the wastegate, you'll come up and then you level out. Sometimes you'll overspike and come, you know, there's a lot of things that can happen. With that being said, this kind of helps us to know what's there. But the AFR is not horrible.
But right at the end though, because it started to blubber when I let off.
Right. Right there, see right at the end, it actually went really rich. So you're,
Oh, so that's the meth.
So there's a couple things. One, we could be spraying too much meth. You know, meth's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you could have too much meth. The fuel itself, like the gasoline, one thing we could be running into is, like you said, when you went to the bigger pump, is it may have basically started injecting too much gas and you're flooding it out.
Yeah.
Because if you go too rich or too lean, it can cause problems. There's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
That sounded better. That was no changes, right? That was just water meth off? Yeah. That was like a little over a 20 horsepower difference. At what point does the meth really benefit us? Because if you're going higher without it.
So what the meth does is cools the intake charge and helps prevent detonation. Because we have such a safe tune right now, it's like we wouldn't even need it.
Okay.
But once we get past whatever the problem is, which hopefully was this, then we can start rolling it back in. And it should make more power with the meth. Because theoretically, we should be able to go, like let's say we maxed it out on the 92 with no meth. Then we turn the meth on, we should be able to actually add more ignition. Because we have that detonation suppression at that point.
So once we really start dialing in, that's when it's like.
That's when it'll happen. Right now, it's either going to make no difference or hurt us.
Yeah.
But it will help us in there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, boy.
See, Corey? Over 400. Dude. Can you see it? 428. Oh, yeah. 500 to the crank. 428.
She's pretty happy there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Tell someone that you finally got it to what they say it's worth.
Because I think there's still more left in it, but I don't think he wants to push it anymore with, you know, without having the head studs. But that can be a project for you guys this winter. Put head studs in it.
Then we'll come back.
And actually, here's the thing: is with this was back to back with or without, but you know, I think it might even hurt the power a little bit in the bottom end when the meth first kicked in.
Yeah.
But that can be tuned
It sounded
out.
a little boggy at first.
Yeah, and it did, because if you look at this, in the bottom end, it actually, because the bright blue was with the meth, the skinny blue was without. So I think the meth, you know, maybe there is just a little bit too much, you know. But we'll look at all the stuff here. But again, you're looking at the safety. If it seems smooth, and if the power's good, having the safety. But if we look at, you know, like let's just take we'll take the best one without the meth versus the very first pull today. And this is even after I made a couple adjustments. And if I take the boost and the AFR out, so you're only seeing horsepower and torque. So there's horsepower and torque. The first pull today to basically that's the second to the last pull.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's huge on the power on the front.
Yeah, it's a big game.
I mean, if you even look at like right there, like come on, at this point. So that's 256 versus 409 at that point.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like, what, 140 horsepower? 150 horsepower?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 153. That's 153 horsepower getting to that point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'll take that all day.
yeah.
What's a wrap?
That's it. She's 150 horsepower more than when we showed up. I'm gonna dyno more myself and want to do something that calls bring back to dyno. If I wasn't worried about scattering oil and coolant all over his dyno,
You'd have gone
when I
for
was
it.
done with it, I'd be totally down to just bring it to $8,000 and see what it made.